Hello and welcome back to the Metropole Grid. My name is Andrej.
My name is Patrick. Welcome back to the Metropole Grid.
Thanks for joining me, Patrick. And hey, thanks for tuning in. This is round 2, game 1 of BD Cosmos 2015 Winter Kit.
Yeah, the first Winter Kit in Montreal, December 19th.
That's correct. There was about 22 players. I think that facilitated 5 rounds of Netrunner.
Yeah, there's 5 rounds of Netrunner.
That's a lot for a Winter Kit, right?
It was pretty hefty. I mean, it was a great turnout. I really had a lot of fun here. I got left home and everything.
Yeah, that's always good. So this is December. This is the middle of December. So at this point, we had not even heard of the most wanted list, let alone it being required.
That's right. We were so innocent back then.
So this is some good old 2015 Netrunner.
OG Netrunner.
Yeah. On the left, it looks like Julien is playing Adam, but it also looks like John is playing Chaos Theory.
It looks like there's about to be a contest of wills between these two men.
And I don't think you both can play Runner. So
someday. I'm sure someday there'll be a crazy big box.
Yes.
And John wins. So get on the scoop, John V.
Yeah, on the right we have John. It looks like John is playing Chaos Theory. That is a signed Chaos Theory. I'm assuming by probably Matt Zellinger if he's the artist on this particular card.
Right. John goes to Gen Con a lot, or John Con as he calls it.
So yeah, he actually has a whole bunch of signatures. He also has this playmat that he offers people to sign.
Right, it's signed by all sorts of people, including myself, right in the middle there.
Oh, that's you? Wait, the spinning thing?
Yeah, that's me. He's taken my soul. I'm screaming, "Ah, my soul!" and I'm falling into a pit. And he's beaten me twice, so I've gotten to use 2 different colors.
Oh, you added on to it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so at first it just said Patrick, and I said Patrick the best.
On the left we have Julien. Julien is playing E.T.F. That is good old
alt art.
The handshake. And I'm assuming this is probably going to be a Foodcoats type thing. I don't see why not. I think everyone has kind of decided globally that's the best way to do this.
Globally.
Yeah.
That's the Metropole heat.
And it looks like
an ice, an asset, and a credit.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So Chaos Theory, we have a hard time. I don't know. I have a really hard time reading what Chaos Theory decks are going to do. There's a lot of options.
Well, she's a generalist.
Yeah, pretty generalist.
Yeah, she has a lot of options.
I think you'd want to try to go for the big type of rig, but actually...
Right, take advantage of that 1 extra MU, but having a small deck size...
Small deck size is fine.
You know what, actually, in Shaper, it's less fine because you have so many tutoring abilities and account siphon.
Yeah!
That's awesome.
So it looks like this is an account siphon, because I think I see another one in John's hand. I think that's what he quality timed for.
Yes.
So double siphon, pretty great. You left that HQ open.
Eve.
So Eve is going to come up. That leaves no money for a siphon. However, John is going to get the access.
This is pretty cool. You don't expect this out of green.
Nope. And hey.
Go figure he has the credits to pay for that NAPD contract.
So 2 points up, and Julien's actually really in a not that good of a spot.
Is that a third G-darn account siphon in his hand?
You know what? That might be it. Could be it. So it looks like 3 account siphons in Shaper, and...
That's such a great surprise, because you ice up R&D against Shaper. You don't ice up HQ if you have the choice.
So account siphon obviously is a really powerful card, and when you're playing against Criminal, you're actually... Well, generally you would play around it, which is... It is possible to play around. There's a lot of things you would want to do. In green, though, wow, that's if you don't protect HQ, that can be pretty brutal.
That's really cool.
I think it was the first place, if not second place. I'm actually pretty sure now it was the second place.
At the Canadian Nationals?
Yeah, second place.
Yeah, it was a Kate with account siphon, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 3 account siphon Kate.
Pretty fun.
That did a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
I have no doubt. The idea with, with Count Siphon, you really want that Count Siphon to land. Turn 1, turn 2, that usually has a big impact on the game. And normally if you want to do that in Anarch or Criminal, you need a pretty good AI breaker. That's why Faust is pretty great.
They will ice up HQ ASAP.
Exactly. And I guess if you're doing this inside green, you do have something like the SMC.
That's a good point. SMC is a great green card that really facilitates the... account siphon run.
So I think if you have maybe there you go.
There you go. You have the 3 account siphons.
Yes. 8 credits is enough probably to get through anything with the SMC. That's all you need. However,
but he's spending 5 credits on that ice, I think.
Yeah. That is an Ichi 1.0 resed. No reason to really go through that for the siphon. You could get an access.
He could. I'm sure he'll even let that self-modifying code be trashed.
Yeah, you could.
Why would he spend 2 clicks to keep that?
Yeah, you could. You could just let that go. You didn't pay a lot of money for that.
Right. And that trace is not going to land.
Yeah, the trace is only going to be a 1 credit. So this is something that I think you'd want to... It depends. Okay, so John launched that account
depends, of course.
siphon.
Like, that self-modifying, it's still valuable.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying definitely lose it, but
That account siphon was launched with Julien only having 5 credits. So if any piece of ice was going to be rezzed, I think HB doesn't have many pieces of ice less than 3 credits. I think 3 credits is probably bottom.
yeah, well, you're talking about Eli's and things
Yeah,
like that.
so the siphon was only going to get 2 credits at best. I guess we do get an access, and that's actually
Okay.
pretty good access.
That's pretty good access.
Project Vitruvius, you have now 4 points onto the table.
And he has to reveal, just an Adonis campaign. All right, that's good.
So actually, rezzing that ice made Julien unable to protect that Adonis
Right,
campaign.
but something interesting, I see a lot of ice. So I see a lot of agendas in his hand.
Uh,
If I were him, I might have
eh?
just let that account siphon go through.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's risky.
I mean, maybe it was worth it to give up an agenda, but also let him get a piece of ice rezzed anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like there is another agenda in hand, and this is the battle of playing against Foodcoats. Is as a runner, you're going to need 4 agendas.
And they'll probably just need 3.
They usually only need 3. And as the game goes on, those servers get more and more protected with really taxing ice and upgrades. So getting those 2 early agendas is actually really, really big.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is a huge help.
The game is on even footing, so to
Yep.
speak.
So slowly taking up money, and that's the strength of E.T.F, obviously, is that you can advance board state while recovering from financial...
It's so strong. You just get rewarded for something you're going to do anyway.
Yes, it's pretty good. A same old thing could come in at any point in time to reset the E.T.F, but it looks like we're just going to mod out that RDI. That's only 1 credit.
Yep.
And with only 3 credits on Julien's side, no architect res, and, well, I guess you find another architect.
Yep.
So 2 off the top of R&D, no agendas there.
And you know where 1 architect is now.
Yeah, that's actually really handy. You gotta really be scared about architect now, especially after paying about, 8 credits worth of trashed assets. You got some Eves in there, you got some Adonises in there.
That's a good point.
And you don't want those coming back.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts so much.
Man, I've been playing really poorly against some ETFs in which I go and trash the remote and then check
then you-
HQ R&D, and then everything floods back.
Right.
It is the most demoralizing thing.
It's very painful to check.
Yeah.
And now he's got architect money.
Yeah. So something new in that server. Same old thing is easily going to be account siphon.
Sure.
That
It's
Ichi
the
will...
same old siphon.
Yeah, same old siphon's pretty good. That Ichi's not going to end the run at all.
No, we're going to pretend that E.T. doesn't exist.
Yeah, I guess you do have to
Well-
click once through that. You want to click through the trace just so the Corp can't dump money into the trace.
That's a good
and
point.
dodge the siphon. But looks like that is going to land. That is a large swing. 1 to 13 credits now at this point. And this is maybe turn 4, turn 5. Not too good for ETF. R&D is open again, but looks like we don't have the clicks to check.
Right, this is the end of the turn.
Yeah. So in that server, you know what? I think that's the Caprice he had in his hand.
Oh, did you see Caprice?
Yeah,
All
he
right,
totally.
cool.
HQ at the beginning of the game was only Caprices and agendas,
agendas,
just
right.
about. We're gonna check that remote. No res. No
res
res
with
Caprice. No side game either.
And-
And that is the Eve campaign that we probably
Okay.
saw at the top. And you know, John's gonna go ahead
John
and
pays to
trash
trash
that.
it.
Now we are checking
But-
R&D, and hey,
John,
there you
no! No, John!
go. 4 credits is just enough.
We were just talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, you know, this is always the huge problem. That I don't know if you want to bring the Eve back. Bring the Caprice back is probably fine.
You know, bring the Eve back would be insulting.
Yeah, it
would
would
be
be.
demoralizing. That's what you would do.
And I guess, you know, the Eve's pretty good in this matchup to dodge the siphon.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you can
a
get
great
that
point.
rezzed up.
But he'd also trashed Caprice, and that's a valuable card.
Yeah,
to
that's
have more
something
of.
you're gonna want back. But it looks like we're gonna go put that that sexy robot man back in there. If we can get up to 4 credits, we'll have some sort of engine running. Now, top 2 cards, probably not agendas, considering that Julien was allowed to look at them and probably would have installed something if it was bad.
Yeah. Do you think John was thinking it wasn't an architect?
Yeah, probably
Because he saw one architect
yeah,
before.
I guess.
Yeah. He played the odds.
But even, you know what? I don't think that was that detrimental. He is still at 0 credits.
Sure.
The architect is rezzed. He does the trash another Adonis. and
Yeah, he
that's
got a few free quicks. Shouldn't
quite
he have
okay.
gotten a credit from the install?
He installed over the architect, so it was credit neutral, like on
Okay,
top of it.
I see.
Second architect in hand. And that's going to pass the turnover. So you know what? After trashing all those assets, I think John might have spent around 16, 17 credits trashing stuff.
Yeah.
He is now down to 1 credit. We're going to see how much of his economy actually relies on the count siphon. Because the count siphons are pretty ripe to fire at this point.
They're pretty great, but you can't rely on firing them turn 1 necessarily.
Shaper, maybe.
In shape, yeah, that's true. Same old
Maybe-
thing
maybe
into
you
a
can.
siphon. As no, self-modifying siphon.
Yeah, SMC into Siphon is still pretty good. We're gonna drop. From playing John, I know particularly he loves card draw. He
Sure, yeah.
really likes card
I
draw.
think any of us who came from Magic, we just love having a game where you can draw cards so much more easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've never actually played that much Magic, but
Mm.
and I'm actually pretty bad at drawing cards when I play Netrunner. I think it's I don't have the timing down right, but
Maybe.
I'm okay with that. That clone ship is coming down, so I think the only thing we can pull back at this point is an SMC. So it's going to be interesting to find out what John's answer is to a 4-strength Ichi 1.0. I think normally we go for Atman around these parts. Atman 1.0 is pretty good.
Yeah.
If everyone is still going to stick with Mimic, maybe Mimic Data Sucker. We do have the extra MU, so we could easily put out
Could be.
an extra Data Sucker.
Because we know he doesn't have much influence left for a fancy killer.
Yeah, probably not. Probably
but,
everything is nearly everything's in faction.
Yeah, like maybe a Mimic, maybe Data Suckers.
I think
but
for one influence, Mimic could be okay.
sure. And of course, Shaper, you don't mind having one ofs.
Yeah. One thing worth noting is that John did install the Plastic Carapace.
Yeah.
This does mean that he's definitely going to go tag me. And whether or not you have meat damage in your HB E.T.F deck is yet to be seen. I haven't seen it a lot, but I guess you don't want to lose
I
the
actually
game.
did get wrecked by that once with a punitive Counter-Strike. This was
Oh.
before Foodcoats was a thing.
Yeah,
But
3-pointers.
like some decks just run the surprise Scorch because
Yeah.
you don't expect it.
You know what? I think actually punitive might be okay if you're going for 3-pointers because HB does have the money.
Yeah,
And
absolutely do.
generally, runners are not concerned about having more than 4 credits when accessing agendas. You
Right.
want, especially against food codes, you'll kind of break your back for those early accesses.
For sure.
Yeah, if you assume it is food code. So that actually could be a pretty legitimate way to go. Looks like the economy on John's side has come to a bit slow down a bit.
Kind of creaked.
Yeah,
It's getting creaky.
something has been installed into that remote. I guess you could faceplant into that, check it. It's probably a Turing, and the Corp spending
Yeah.
4 credits just to end the run is not too bad for you,
No.
even if you don't care to break it. It is only
okay.
our friend Jackson Howard.
Hey, Jackson.
So looks like now Julien has the ability.
What's your favorite toy on the Jackson card? Because I like the bird that's flying and squawking at you.
You know what? I haven't seen that art really close up in a while. I'm a big fan of Dinosaurus for obvious reasons.
Sure, yeah.
I think Dinosaurus is really, really cool. There's
Oh,
also
yeah, like 8-year-old Patrick, big fan of dinosaurs.
there's a large snake that spans the entire bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's interesting. I don't know what that's
Takes me
about.
back to Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't remember that movie very well.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to watch it later?
Yeah, we
Okay,
could.
cool,
We could
yeah.
watch it. That's I like that director, I guess. It looks
Timmy B.
like Timmy B. Julien is getting the opportunity to dump cards from hand. I think that's good at this point.
Yeah,
you can focus on econ at this point. Get those hedge funds up. Get those cards that will.
John's game has kind of slowed down, so Junior has a chance to build up board state, get the cards he wants into his hand, and of course Jackson is going to the basement
Yep.
to find some things,
3 cards in, right back.
sending them back up to the pneumatic tubes that line the Haas-Bioroid offices, I assume.
Yeah, probably still on Nemotube. A lot of that is probably going to be agendas. And now I
That
think
was 3 face-down cards. So
3 face down
nothing
cards.
face-up
Yeah.
like that.
So Julien's going to be looking for some sort of upgrades. I think maybe throw an upgrade on HQ and R&D to stop that siphon spam.
For sure.
Crisium Grid might be a one of in these decks. I think Crisium Grid is pretty good in our meta, which does have Apocalypse. I think Apocalypse is pretty great. And I'm really
Apocalypse
scared
is
about
pretty
that.
brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah. And, of course, Criticism Grid, when you know your opponent is running count siphons,
it's pretty good at that
yeah.
point.
Mind
Yeah.
you, at a certain point, HP is just making so much money, and count siphon isn't going to matter.
Yeah, it's not going to matter that much. And that's the thing is, like, as the game goes along, Foodcoats is incredibly resilient. And you've seen Julien now has a pretty good board state. Not enough money probably to res everything, but definitely a threat.
Right.
And so for those siphons, I think we threw out 3 siphons.
Yes, we've thrown out 3, and we've same old thinged once.
Yes. So for all those siphons, John has 2 agendas to show for it and has trashed a whole bunch of assets, stopping this Foodcoats from really starting to roll. So I think that actually might have paid off.
Oh, yeah, you know, I completely think that's paid off.
We've entered the mid-game, and with mid-game, it comes some good old draw. 5 cards is a lot in a 40-card deck. I think this deck probably runs... Yeah, I see he drew another quality time. I think it's all quality times, all diesels. It's an absurd amount of card draw just to find those pieces.
Boy, I have a hard time playing quality time outside of a prepaid kind of deck.
Oh, paying 3 for 5?
It just doesn't feel right to me.
Oh, 3s. It's good.
So I usually go for diesels.
Let's mod it out, for absolutely no cost. We can now check those architects. We do have an RDI, so R&D is probably something we'd want to pressure.
And a lockpick.
Yeah.
So I guess he's running a refractor. That's fun.
Yeah, refractor is really, really good.
Refractor's great, yeah.
In-
I think shapers are good at code gates.
Yes.
I'm just going to come out
I
and
think
say that.
shapers are good at code gates.
Yeah.
Refractor is amazing. I think even without stealth credits, you're breaking things like enigmas and data pikes for.
You're breaking some of the most common code gates out there for just 1 credit per
For
sub
1 credit per sub,
It
which
starts
is
at 2. Then again,
quite
so does
alright.
Gordian Blade.
Sure, but Gordian Blade costs 4 to install.
Oh, and refractor's only 1.
Refractor's
isn't
1,
it?
which
Okay,
is
yeah.
a lot. A lot of. It's not a big number. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's less than 2.
And I think against this Foodcoats matchup, the only code gates that you're going to have to worry about is Turing, which for 1 stealth credit, you're just about good if that's on a remote. And
Yeah.
maybe Toll Booth, which again is just 1 stealth credit and a break, let alone those 3 credits you're going to spend anyways. If you don't bypass, or Hunting Grounds, which I think is pretty cool.
And that is a pretty cool deck.
Something new in the remote and 2 pieces of ice. Is an agenda? Is it just an upgrade? We don't
He
know.
is clone shipping for an SMC.
Yeah, I think clone ship SMC, and we're probably gonna go code building with that SMC.
What?
We're gonna look for something.
So sorry, yeah. I shouldn't second guess my co-host.
For all the money.
Okay, cool.
That is a Magnum
That's
opus.
a Magnum opus. Have you noticed how he covers up my writing on his mat?
Yeah, I
Like
think
I can't like just.
putting it in the middle is probably.
Oh, don't blame me.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a big space right up there that's always been empty. I don't know if people write there for some reason, but that's good real estate if you ever.
Maybe he's just wiping it off with his hands whenever he's playing.
Yeah, that's true. That's the area of action.
Yeah.
So Magnum Opus is on the board. We have the ability to just print money. The flavor text on Magnum Opus is one of my favorites. I remember when getting the game. And
Just some legitimate credits. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm actually working
Whoa.
for a living.
so, I don't know. Normally when I see Magnum Opus and Chaos Theory, I'm worried about things like Vamp. But I think with influence on...
We know that a vamp isn't. I mean, there may be 1 vamp. There's influence
could
space
be,
for
but-
1 vamp right now, but
But I think already Econ Denial is accounted for in this deck.
absolutely.
And it looks like we have probably an agenda. Install
Okay.
Advance with another upgrade. There are 3 cards in that server.
The game is afoot.
Game is definitely afoot, and we are...
Okay, just didn't draw more.
You just gotta draw
Okay.
your cards, I guess.
Oh, I saw it.
What did you see?
I saw the other influence.
Okay. I think with that draw, yeah, you could expect some other influence in there. But worth noting is those 2 servers down there that Julien has unprotected. I'm really confident those are team sponsorships that he
Yeah.
installed for credit at the
I think
beginning
we
of
know
the game.
for sure that 1 is, or there's the refractor.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Refractor's out. Turing is no longer that big of a deal
Yep,
on either remote or central.
that's right.
Do you contest this remote? Let's see. If that's in a Caprice, you have to play a game, and then you have to play an Ash, and you can't win the Ash trace. You do make the Corp spend a bunch of money raising ice.
Yes, there it is.
And there we go.
Mephistopheles.
So that is Faust for 3 credits, and this might be another added benefit to having all that card draw, is that
Yeah.
you can start throwing away your cards for breakers.
By the way, I love that he's using Impy.
sorry?
as-
Inti, yeah.
Inti, yeah, as one of his
His fractures.
his fractures. It's great.
Double team sponsorship going to be rezzed. Know that is an agenda.
That seems unfair to bet on both teams.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of teams.
It's a bit rough.
Hedge your bets. So we're firing that ABT. Of course we're going to fire that, right?
Yeah, if you've got the team sponsorships, you're so safe.
3 cards off the top. If any of that's an ice, it is
Oh, there we
only
go.
1 ice.
Okay.
That is an Eli. You
But look,
install.
he'll get to install something.
Yeah.
Ah!
Installed something into that server, and another onto the top
Wow.
from archives.
He kind of got 3 installs from that agenda score.
Yeah.
That's pretty
and
good.
That is
one
the
res.
strength of team sponsorship. Gaining tempo when doing something that you normally do that loses you tempo
Yeah.
is pretty
and he
good.
probably installed another ice right into that server. It's
Yeah,
kind
and
of
you're
a-
probably good to go at this point.
Yeah, and with Faust on the table, I think it's safe to say that he is Faust advancing those agendas. That joke worked better the first time we tried recording this.
Also, I think Julien might have forgotten. It's totally worth remembering is that on all installs, even with team sponsorship, you do get
You will
that
get the
E.T.F credit.
And team sponsorship, you don't pay the install cost. So of
Exactly.
course,
So
yeah.
you're actually making money regardless of how deep ice that server is.
Yeah.
We're gonna poke R&D. We do have an RDI on the table, and Julien is doing something here real smart that you should be doing regardless.
Make sure you know what you can res after
Yeah.
you've protected R&D.
Yeah, you can't tunnel down this stuff. I protected R&D, but now my remote
Right.
is garbage. Yeah, you want to make sure to not do that.
This is the kind of action that good players do, and then this is why I watch the Metropole Grid videos.
Just so we can talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. First dice not being read. I don't think. We're counting, and that's the problem with Faust in hand.
Checking his heap.
Yeah. John has a big old mid of cards. I think he just dieseled before that. So whatever that's coming up, we can probably throw out cards that we're going to throw out anyways.
Yeah.
I have no doubt there's going to be at least a Levy in this deck, so we can recycle this deck.
Oh, I would expect so.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using Faust as one of your breakers.
And a Count Siphon.
And a Count Siphon.
It doubles the effectiveness.
Of your Count Siphons and your same old things. Yeah.
First piece of ice, we're not going to res that. Second piece of ice probably is going to get the flip. And you know what? That's another Eli. We could pull back that Inti and spend a boatload of money, but it looks like we're just going to make the deal with the devil and throw out a couple cards.
Again, the runner is Faust. He's making the deal with
Yeah,
Mephistopheles.
I still haven't read the
sorry.
text.
I'm sorry.
That's what, 3 cards?
Yeah, that would be 3 cards. He's thrown in an SMC and a clone chip so far.
So I'm interested to see how a Faust deck works with Magnum Opus. It seems from face value to be a bit anti-synergistic. I guess you don't need money for breakers. 2 cards off the top. That is an accelerated beta test.
Ooh, up to 6 points. Okay.
That is really good to steal. If John didn't steal that and say there is an agenda in the remote, it would have chained the next one off of the ABT.
That's a good point.
And it looks like it is another ABT. We're definitely going to fire that.
Right.
So that Eli was drawn, so that is not going to get free-stalled. But an Ichi
Nice
2.0...
Natalie Portmanteau.
Ichi 2.0 for free and getting a credit up installed.
That's
that
pretty
is
solid.
money.
Yep.
That is so much money on a 4th piece of ice on it. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so he's installing a new server.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't look like anything's going into that scoring server right now.
Nope. And the second team sponsorship is going to fire. We can pull another card from archives, and it looks like we're going to consider that Lady in Red.
Our Lady of Foodcoats, Caprice.
Caprice is going to do her NAPD security type thing.
Yep.
On R&D. So now that server, look at that. You have to break
kind of
through
a difficult server.
2 Bioroids, one of them being Ichi 2.0, just to have a 1 in 3 chance of accessing some cards off of R&D.
Yep.
And this is what happens when you hit the late game with Foodcoats, is you're in some really bad positions. We still have
Foodcoats is so solid late game.
Yeah, very, very strong
Usually
late
it's
game.
the runner's game late game, but Foodcoats can really get to a powerful late game stage.
Now, luckily, John only needs to touch 1 more agenda in this game
right.
to win, and that's the kind of the benefit of stealing 2 points, 2 agendas really early in the game, is that now you only need 1 good access. You can contest the remote once and not worry about future tempo. You can contest R&D, maybe legwork, and you could probably have an out.
Do you think that Julien is running NAPDs? No, I think we know he's
totally,
running it.
we know.
Do.
I think we've seen already 2 in the deck. This is before most wanted list, so I don't see why not. Yeah. Now the thing with Julien is that he only has to score 1 global food to put him on 7 points. So we are totally at game point.
He would telegraph that. Like, John would know when game point is there. So
install advanced events probably means game point. We have the same old thing on the table.
Using it right away because you gotta.
We can do that first siphon. Now 7 credits. I have no doubt that there's going to be an ice res and no siphon. I don't think there's anything that is... You can res 2 pieces of ices to dodge this. That does lower your money.
Yeah.
The Corp has, so maybe after that you could go and kind of rip up that remote server. That gives you a small window. He might not have a click left because I think it was install. Same old thing. He might have drawn first click.
That's a good point.
So not the most time to capitalize on this. Looks like that's an Ichi 1.0.
Ichi 1.0.
Double Ichi server is pretty rough. We still don't have a way to deal elegantly with 4 strength sentries besides Faust.
Classic Foodcoats.
Yeah. We only have 1 click to spare too, so we're going to have to trash some cards, it looks like, if we don't want to have the rig.
Ichi 1.0 is strength 4 and 2.0 is strength 5.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah. So one of them is David Food, but cannot be clicked through too easily.
Yeah. Faust Food.
Faust Food is still good with Ichi 1.0. So only 2 cards down in hand. I think we broke everything besides the trace. I doubt Julien is going to pump into that trace. That's not something I think is...
I wouldn't if I were him.
Yeah,
certainly.
It's not that much a point. Tags are already landed. The brain damage is not going to do that much considering all this card draw.
And when he's at 2 credits, that Caprice over R&D is...
It's not looking so nice.
But you're right, John might be at his last click. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the strength of a Count Siphon, is that in theory you can... Oh, no. So last click was just Magnum Opus. That's quite all right.
What?
He had 1 more click after that. He just took
did he?
Magnum, yeah.
No, he just spent money.
Oh, did
I think
he?
he spent
Oh,
money
sorry.
on a trace.
I might be. Yeah, I might
maybe.
be mistaken.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, last click was Magnum Opus.
Oh no, that's a new turn. So it looks like wow, this is really confusing. It looks like Julian just took some credits. John's putting that same old thing on the table. If he doesn't use that right away, that is easily trashable since he is
But-
floating all the tags.
Sometimes if you're going tag me, you kind of want to bait the Corp
Yeah,
into spending a click.
yeah, it's fine. G credits, spend a click.
Especially, I mean, you've just levied, so you've taken a tempo hit.
Yeah.
If you make the Corp take a tempo hit, that's okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna spend 5 credits for Levy. We gotta shuffle the deck.
That's more of that card
and
draw
grip.
that John loves.
Yeah, that is technically card draw. So that is out of the game, and we get to draw 5 more cards, and we're back into this. 3 diesels, 3 quality times, and a Faust. This is a
Yeah.
really strong.
He's got a good rig out there.
Yeah, still not convinced about that Magnum Opus. Not sure how useful that's going to be.
And the Mimic is not doing a lot of work.
Mimic's getting through Architect.
It's
That's
getting through
better than
Architect,
3
you're right.
cards with
Yep.
Faust. I think Mimic is totally worth 1 influence. And we're still on it. So with 5 credits, I don't think Julien is going to be able to rush out that winning agenda anytime too soon. I think he's going to have to stabilize. R&D is getting a bit low in cards, and that is something that happens with team sponsorship and accelerated beta tests, is that scoring an agenda goes through 4 cards easily.
That's a good point.
Mandatory draw plus
That's
3
a really
more.
interesting point.
So-
And you have a lower agenda density than you might be thinking, like than you would traditionally.
Yeah. Install for credit. Take 2 credits. Is
Okay.
that if that's an agenda? Doesn't really matter.
Not a huge deal because
Team sponsorship could be cool, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
not the
Julien is
biggest.
probably aiming to score a global food
Yeah,
at this point.
I think that's what you want. All the ABTs have been scored anyway, so there's probably no more agendas that do that much for your board state.
Right.
We got some gambles. Money is looking okay,
Yeah.
and I think we're just gonna poise for a big access at some
I'm
point.
very interested about him using sure gambles when he has Magnum Opus out there, and
It's-
the sure gambles could be Faust bait.
They could. It's still twice as efficient as
Sure.
Magnuming.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't. It's true.
I don't want to criticize him. Again, he did
no.
give me a lift home after this tournament, and that was great. Really
It's
appreciate
always
that.
very good. We're by the way out in Laval, which is technically off the island of Montreal. It's about for me about 30 minutes on the metro just to get there.
Lucky you.
Yep. We have a new upgrade on HQ that could easily be a Crisium grid. And
Yeah.
if that is so, Count 7 is not looking so hot anymore. But that could just be something like an Ash, even a Caprice.
Right.
Just as a bluff, even.
So he's modded a second RDI.
Yes.
One thing I like about RDI versus Maker's Eye, I've seen people sometimes play Crisium Grid on R&D,
Which does stop Maker's Eye.
which stops Maker's
and
Eye, but not
indexing.
R&D.
Yeah. And that is a good thing with this huge card draw. It's really easy for you, after playing a quality time, to draw both your modded and something you want to mod out.
I do like having modded in a deck that has a lot of card draw.
Yeah,
it's a good
it's-
choice.
Super useful.
Modded,
And,
modded is a great card. It's basically a sure gamble that you can play from 0
yes.
if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have...
You just need to make sure that you have the card draw to be able to see both pieces.
yeah.
And then later in the game, I guess it just becomes Faust food. That's not a reason to include a card into your deck, but that's
I specifically include terrible cards in my deck. Leviathan? Sorry.
Fast food.
I actually spent influence on Leviathan.
Install advance. That is probably the global food. This could easily be the last turn. John is going to have to make a stand. With 12 credits, a full hand, 2 RDIs. I think we have totally a couple options of what to do.
My prediction is run on R&D, maybe to force that Caprice res,
Yeah, and then you can
And
go
tax him out of
remote.
his 10 credits, and then
Yeah.
run on the other one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Caprice, of course, is a unique card, so only one copy can be rezzed.
Yeah,
at
that
a
doesn't mean
time.
he can. Well, he can res the second one and
It'll
trash
just-
the first one, right?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, it will trash the first one. So you can juggle pressure, do the little judo throw, go left, go right, then hook back left.
Okay, that's a lot of sports references that I am not getting.
Looks like John might be considering getting rid of this Magnum. If he's not going to use it this turn, it's not going to do much for him.
Nope.
In terms of winning
But
the
what
game.
would he install? I wonder.
Oh,
Does he have a second Levy in hand?
Yeah.
He is cheeky.
No, this deck is 2 levies. It's no influence. Why not?
sure.
Let's Magnum once and throw in an SMC.
Okay, cool.
So now anything could happen. I guess you could pull out a Sharpshooter, which is pretty good against ET 2.0 if that's
a good point.
thing.
It's a pretty cheap way of getting through that.
Maybe you have a lady. If you don't want to do all those cards for Eli, you could just pay 1 credit and pull out H1.
Yeah.
And we are totally poking that remote. So there are at least 2 upgrades in there?
Yeah, looks like 2 upgrades.
Maybe 3?
So Ash and Caprice, or a Breaker Bay in one of those 2.
Yeah. If there's both of them, that's really nightmarish because you have to win the Caprice game and then
And a trace?
also have
Ugh.
enough money.
Yuck.
It looks like if Julien's gonna spend some money resing ice, he probably isn't in any sort of spot to contest an Ash Trace. So things are not looking too bad.
Right. But I want that card to be an NEPD contract a little bit, and then when John gets there with 3 credits,
not good enough.
no.
That wouldn't win the game.
No, but it would be.
But it would be fun.
It would
Yeah.
win the fun game.
It would be the fun one. So we are taking a long, hard think about this, and with you know what? I think there are 4 cards in that remote.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there is. So
okay.
easily, I don't know. I have no doubt there's a Turing on there on that remote, and Redsing
of course.
Turing for 4 credits, which is broken for no credits if you want to do both of your lockpicks.
I wouldn't do both lockpicks.
Yeah, that's true.
Chances
Maybe
of 2
not.
Turings is very high.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually true. It looks like no res, so we're gonna slam into that Eli, and we do have a lady.
Okay.
So paying 4 for that and an extra credit might be better than 3 cards in hand or 2 clicks.
Sure. I don't know any dogs named Lady. I know lots of dogs named Cujo and Rex.
Oh, lady seems like a fine name for a dog.
I mean, it's a fine name, but it's not like I've never met
It's
a dog
not that
named
common.
Lady.
Yeah. Maybe the heads in mythology were named Lady.
Okay, yeah. I don't know who Mephistopheles is, but I know the heads of Cerberus.
We're gonna keep going. It looks like that's
That was
no
mean,
res.
folks. I'm sorry. That was really mean to Andre.
Between
You're right. There were 4 cards in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's-
So resing the Caprice for no cost with that
And
grid.
probably an Ash there too. That's the best you can hope for.
No doubt it's an Ash. The last piece of ice is not going to be res, so we're going straight to Caprice game. And you know what? I don't think we have enough money to contest Ash without any of that ice being res. So that server was just Eli into all these upgrades, which seems pretty effective.
It's looking good. What are you thinking? Oh no, I think the last time we did this, I predicted both.
2-0.
We did so well this first time.
2-1.
Okay, 2-1. All right.
Yeah.
So Gina keeps them out.
So that is bad news. There is 1 click left. I think. Yeah, I think just 1 click left. So it looks like, we are going to hit the R&D. That is Ichi 2.0, which is 5 strength. Pretty annoying for Faust.
Rough
that is
for Faust.
a whole bunch of cards.
There's a moment when I thought John was about to play Levy. He was not, folks.
Levy. Yeah, I think you need this. So this
Okay, so
could
he's-
easily be game. We
Yeah.
have an 2 RDIs. That is 3 cards off the top. If we hit any agenda,
Yeah, he's paying for that trace because that trace could kill him with the brain damage.
that trace would be lethal. Eli getting through. And you know what? That is the
course.
second Caprice. We knew that was there. No surprises. Paying 2 for the Ichis leaving.
Okay,
Not a lot
do
of
you want to
money.
guess Julien and I'll guess John?
So Julien only needs 3 credits, so it could be anything.
John's going to go 0.
John probably
'Cause
goes 0.
He might... He doesn't have to.
No, I don't think he does. I think it's completely random at this point. 0-0. Okay.
0-0.
Oh
boy.
So we got 3 cards off the top. I guess you don't trash Caprice.
Don't do that yet.
Not yet. This
Nice of him to offer.
Yeah. So off the top, that's not gonna do it.
That's not going to do it.
Not neither. One credit short. That's the handshake.
No! That's
server
the Foodcoats.
is the global food.
Oh, boy.
Good game. Really well played both sides. That's
Boy, that
really
was some
interesting.
good Netrunner.
Yeah, with the Magnum opus, still not enough money, just 1 click short.
No, but I love a game of Netrunner that ends
With
one
click.
credit short.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing about Netrunners, where you can look back and see at how much impact certain plays have.
It's true. I've never played a game that has so many close calls. Like,
Yes.
like so many games of Netrunner really come down to the last turn sometimes.
Awesome. Well, hey, that is exciting.
That was a really good game.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We have the next game coming up, which is, again, Julien versus John. And Julien actually is going to now play his Adam deck, which he's been playing for a while now, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And
I'm really looking forward
watching
to
it.
seeing that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, thanks for watching so much, guys.
See you soon, guys.
Ciao.
I was never gonna be able to get that if I didn't win. That's why I did it.
I mean, John has gone to Gen Con.
Yeah.
Or John Con, as he calls it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's clever, I guess.
So
I'm taking fun of John, not you.
don't you dare.
It's way too
No,
late.
we're not gonna edit this.
Pulling back.
No, this
We
is dead
have
air
to.
otherwise. What are you doing? So, all right, we're about to start the game.
Where were we?
Can I still make the joke?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, totally. Joke's fine.
Okay, wait, are we recording now?
Yeah.